In this class, we are going to discuss about architecture manifests the earliest set of design decisions. Okay, the software architecture represents a system's earliest set of design decisions. The early decisions are the most difficult to get correct and the hardest to change later in the development process, and they have the most far reaching effects. Okay, the main things are the architecture defines constraints on implementation. Okay, means this means that the implementation must be divided into the prescribed elements. Okay, the elements must interact with each other in the prescribed fashion, and each element must fulfill its responsibility to the others as dictated by the architecture. The architecture dictates organizational structure. The normal method for dividing up the labor in a large system is to assign different groups. Okay, there is first one, the architecture defines implementation. So it's mainly focusing on the prescribed elements. So how the elements are mostly interact with each other in the prescribed fashion, and each element must fulfill its responsibility to the others as directly by the architecture. The second one, the architecture dictates organizational structures. The normal method for dividing up the labor in a large system is to assign different groups, different portions of the system to construct. This is called the work breakdown structure of a system. The architecture inhibits or enables a system's quality attributes, whether a system will be able to exhibit its desired quality attributes is substantially determined its architecture. And predicting system qualities by studying the architecture. Okay, now architecture evaluation techniques as the architecture trade-off analysis method supports top-down insight into the attributes of software product quality that is made possible by software architecture. Okay, that is the very important of software architecture. The architecture makes it easier to reason about and managing change. Here we can saw the importance of architecture. The software system change over their lifetimes. Okay, now so means according to that features, it have its own lifetime. And every architecture partitions possible changes into three categories: local, non local, and architectural. So, these are the three possible changes into three categories: local, non local, and architectural. A local change can be accomplished by modifying a single element. A non-local change requires multiple element modifications but leaves the underlying architectural approach intact. The architecture helps in evaluatory prototyping. Prototyping is nothing but rules. Okay, the system is executable early in the product life cycle. Okay, every architecture has its own life cycle. Its fidelity increases as prototype parts are replaced by complete versions of the architect software. A special case of having the system executable early is that potential performance problems can be identified early in the product's life cycle. The architecture enables more accurate cost and schedule estimates. Cost and schedule estimates are an important management tool to enable the manager to acquire the necessary resources and to understand whether a project is in trouble. The architecture as a transferable, reusable model. As once we can create the architecture, we can update the features of existing architecture while designing the new architecture or future architecture. Okay, now that is the meaning of reusable model. This the earlier in the life cycle reuse is applied, the greater the benefit that can be achieved. While code reuse is beneficial, reuse at the architectural level provides tremendous leverage for systems with similar requirements. Software product line share a common architecture. Actually, the what is the meaning of this? Is a software product line or family is a set of software intensive system sharing a common or managed set of features that satisfy the specific needs of a particular market segment or mission, and that are developed from a common set of core assets in the prescribed way. These are the things we are having. And also system can be built using large, okay, extremely externally developed elements. Okay, we want to build a system large, we are using externally developed elements, whereas earlier software paradigms we can observe the focused on programming as the prime activity with the progress, whereas earlier software paradigms focused on programming as a prime activity with the progress measured in lines of code. Architecture based development often focuses on composing or assembling elements that are likely to have been developed separately, even independently from each other. Okay, now if when we are developing this, we want to develop separately or independently, okay, even independently from each other. Okay, now these are all the things according to these advantages. Okay, and also less is more is partly to restrict the vocabulary of design alternatives. Okay, now we wish to minimize the design complexity of the system we are building. Okay, advantages to this approach include enhanced reuse, more regular and simpler designs that are more easily understood and communicated, more capable analysis, shorter selection time, and greater interoperability. Okay, and an architecture permits template based development. An architecture embodies design decisions about how elements interact that while reflected in each element's implementation can be localized and written just once. Templates can be used to capture in one place the inter-element interaction mechanisms. Okay, and also an architecture can be the basis for training. Okay, the architecture, including a description of how elements interact to carry out the required behavior, can serve as an introduction to the system for new project members. Architectural structures and views. Okay, now an architectural structure can by and large be divided into three groups depending on the broad nature of the elements they show. Module structures, component and connect structures, and uh, allocation structures. Okay, now so first one we can say module structures. Here the elements are modules. Here the elements are modules, which are units of implementation. Okay, these are the parts, pieces of for implementation. Modules represent a code based way of considering the system. The modules represents a code based way for considering the system. Okay, now, they are assigned areas for functional responsibility. There is less emphasis on how the resulting software manifests itself at runtime. And module structures allow us to answer questions such as what is the primary functional responsibility assigned to each module, and what other software elements is a module allowed to use? What other software does it actually we have to sum in this? And what other softwares does it actually use? What modules are related to other modules by generalization or specialization, that is inheritance relationships. So these are all we can see in the module structure. And also we have to another type, that is a component and connector structure. Here the elements are runtime components. Here the elements are runtime component, that is which are the principal units of computation. So these are the main principal units for the computation. And connectors which are the communication vehicles among components, means these connectors provides the communication, the interface between the components. Okay now, and that is the vehicle, it provides the communication between the components. Okay, and also components and connector structures help answer questions such as what are the major executing components in your architecture and how do they interact. So what are the major executing components in our architecture and how we are going to interact them, and what are the major shared data stores? So what are the major shared data stores, and which parts of the system are replicated? And how does data progress through the system? What parts of the system can run in parallel? How can the system structure change as it executes? Okay, these are all we can saw in this component and connectors views. Main thing, it's mainly focusing on elements or runtime components and connectors. So how the components and connector structures helps to answer these all things. Okay, now these component connectors are used to provide the interface between the among the components. And this is a or graphical representations for these three types of structures. This is the module structure, this is the component and connector structure, this is the allocation structure. So this module structure mainly focusing on decomposition. It's mainly focusing on modules and classes and uses, okay, and layered. Okay, now these are the things mainly focusing on module system and these components and connector system. Okay, now here the best example for this architecture while providing interface is client server architecture. Okay, now is mainly focusing on client server architecture, is request and reply and process, how is going to perform the interface, how it going to be process the things, and share data, how the data is going to be shared between the component, and what is the concurrency. Okay, these are all the things we are discussed here. And also allocation, so work assignment, deployment and implementation. So according to the organizational level, it allows the teams of the member teams, okay, to work on the particular things, work assignments, development and implementation. And allocation structure, third one, allocation structure. So allocation structure, the relationship between the software elements and the elements in one or more external environments. Okay, this allocation structure allows the relationship between the software elements and the elements in one or more external elements in which the software is created and executed. They answer questions such as what processor does each software element execute on, in what file is each element stored during deployment, testing, and system building. Okay, and what is the assignment of software element is development terms. Okay, now these are the main questions. Is mainly the discussed in this allocation structure. And next, structure, software structures. We are also having some architectural structures and software structures. So module. Okay, now so what is module? Module based structure include the following structures. Module based structures include the following structures. What is decomposition, user, layered, class or generalization? So this is Decomposition means the units are modules. Here, the entire application, the entire the program is divided into subparts. That each part is called as a module. Those are also called as a units or pieces. Okay, now that's meaning of it. The units are module related to each other by the is a submodule of relation, showing how large modules are decomposed into smaller ones recursively until they are small enough to be easily understood and users. Okay, the units are related by the users relation. One unit uses another if the uh, correctness of the first requires the presence of the correct version of the second. Okay, and layered layers are often designed as abstractions that hide implementation. Okay, na? So layers mainly focusing on main things. It's not focusing on implementation side. That is called, the layers are often designed as abstraction, that is virtual machine, that hide implementation specifics and below from the layer above. Okay, and and engendering probabilities. Okay, now, and cross class or generalization. The class structure allows us to reason about reuse and the internal addition of functionality. So these are the main things of software structures. One is module. What is module? So in this module is mainly focusing on decomposition, users, layered, class or generation. Next, component and connector. Component and connector structures include the following structures. Process or communicating processes. The units are here are processes, are threads that are connected with each other by communication, synchronization, and or execution exclusion operations. And concurrency. The concurrency structure is used early in design to identify the requirements for managing the issues associated with current execution. And shared data or responsibility. So this structure comprises components and connectors that create, store and access and persistent data. It's mainly create, store and access and persistent data, that is shared data or responsibility. And client server, this is useful for separation of concerns, supporting modifiability, supporting runtime performance. Okay, that is called main, the client server. Our main example if components connector is a client server. This is useful for separation of concern, for physical distribution and for load balancing. Allocation. Okay, allocation structure includes the following structures: deployment, implementation, work assignment. So what is deployment? Okay, now this view allows an engineer to reason but performance, data integrity, availability and security. So while deployment, so mainly we can focusing on the main reasons. So what is the performance of the system, what is the data integrity, and what is availability, and what is the security this system is provides for us, these all things. And implementation, this is critical for the management of development activities and builds processes. And work assignment, this structure assigns responsibility for implementing and integrating the modules to the appropriate development terms. Okay, this is the work assignment. The structure assigns responsibility for implementing and integrating the modules to the appropriate development teams. And relating structures to each other. Each of these structures provides a different perspective and design handle on a system, and each is valid and use its own right. In general mapping between structures are many to many. The general mapping of structure is a many to many. Already I told the structure we can see entire it is a single structure, but structure having internally subsystem substructures. Okay, that's what saying many to many. Individual structures bring with them the power to manipulate one or more quality attributes. So when we work on it, okay, we can consider as a structure to structure. So single structure. So they can bring with them the power to manipulate one or more quality attributes. They represent a powerful separation of concern approaches for creating the architecture. So that is the main thing. And which architectures to choose? Okay, generally, Crochen's views it allows. One is the logical structure, process, development, physical. Okay, these are the things. So logical structure. The elements are key abstractions which are manifested in the object-oriented world as objects or object classes. This is a module view and process. This view addresses concurrency and distribution of functionality. It is a component and connector view. It is a component and connector view. Okay, this is the logical structure mainly on the how the system is having the how the user is mainly interact with the system. So how what are the main things? What is the dependency and what is the independency? So the main thing is the depends expressed in this particular logical structures. The process. This view addresses concurrency. So and distribution of functionality. Okay, na? So it is a component and a connector view and development. So this view shows so the organization of software modules. So what are the modules of particular application and what are the libraries and what are the subsystems and what and units of development. Everything here we can focus on, and it is an allocation view. It is the mainly an allocation view and mapping software. It's mainly mapping the software to the development environment, to the development environment and physical. This view maps elements onto processing and communication nodes and is also an allocation view. So these are the things we can focus. And in generally the user having communicate with these things. The architecture when the final results the user want to communicate, so is mainly focusing on this the architecture. Who developed the architecture? Architect. The architect is mainly focusing on this, but the always different types of stakeholders along with architect. Architect is as a one of the stakeholder, but different types of the stakeholders, so is always you communicate with this architect. For example, we can consider the developing organization and management stakeholders, development organization and management stakeholders. So they expect something. So according to this particular architecture, so what is the cost? They will always expect the low cost, and also um, they will mainly focusing on employment. So okay, they are having their own concerns. According to the concerns, they will be the they will expect the particular architectures. For example, we have to consider marketing stakeholders. So we have to consider the marketing stakeholders. So they want neat features. The architecture required contains neat features and short time to market. Okay, within short time they want to grow. Short time to market, and also within the short period of time, the application will come to the particular market in within a particular period of time. So they want the particular application or product. That is the meaning of short time to market and low cost and priority with computing and precedence. Okay, these are the things. And also we have to consider end user stakeholders. You are all end users. For example, end users, common users, end user stakeholders. So they want to expect behavior of this system or performance of the system, how the system provide the security, what is the portability, and what is the maintainable. Everything is under consideration of these particular stakeholders. And next, modifiability. We have to consider the organization stakeholders. So these stakeholders mainly mainly concentration on how we can modifiability. Okay, now how it's going to modifiable. It's modifiable. How we can modifiable. How we can edit. How we can update. How we can delete something without missing the current information. And customer stakeholders. Here we can see the customer stakeholders. The customer mainly wants low cost, timely and timely delivery, and not changed every often. Okay, na? When we purchase a new product, what we expect? Okay, na, if this product will up to maximum lifetime we will want. Okay, na? So that much of type of products they always be want. That is the meaning. Low cost and timely delivery. Okay, in time lo delivery unnadi compulsory and not changeable every often. The features are not change every often. Okay, now these are the things the mainly the stakeholders expect. According to those all stakeholders concerns, the architect will design the architectures. So while seeing the above different types of modules, so for creating them we are using these three type of modules. What are those? Module structures, component and connector structures, and allocation structures. Okay, now in this class we discussed about these are the things. Okay, thank you, thank you.